Yes, hello and welcome back to another episode from Better You in Tune. Excuse me. I'm your host Isaac Frimpong, an artist that loves to read books. And yes, we're moving on to a new book. We're going to be talking about today Tyson Fury's autobiography called Gloves Off. Started this book during the end of last week and been finding it very, very, very insightful. So I'm going to share with you something that I've taken from this book, and I've entitled it, What is Your Excuse? So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so yes, welcome back. Thank you for joining in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with anyone who this may be of interest to. But yes, first of all, I would just like to say I am not a massive boxing fan. I would say I'm just a casual boxing fan. But I do like the psychology of boxing and what it entails and what it takes to be a champion. And I thought this would be a very interesting read. So if I do mention some things that are not quite 100% right in terms of terminology, or forgive, my boxing knowledge is very, very limited. But let's get into it. So first of all, I just want to share with you a quote that I found in a book that Tyson Fury said, and he said, "I will turn that battle into fuel. I will use it as armor." That's the quote. And he said this in relation to Tyson Fury said this in relation to the birth of his sixth child. I think her name was Athena. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, his sixth child was born, and she had serious health issues to the point where I think she even at one point stopped breathing for a number of hours. And the reason why I titled this segment, What is Your Excuse? Because this was during the time of him being in the preparations for the Fury versus Wilder 3 fight. As you know, the magnificent trilogy between him and Deontay Wilder. And he mentions that, training camps are anything between 10 to 12 weeks. This happened during that 10 to 12 week period. And it was so bad that he was sleeping rough on the hospital floor whilst hoping for his daughter, hoping and praying that his daughter will recover. And he could have very much easily used this as an excuse, because by the time the whole ordeal, we know in the end his daughter survived, and she's now healthy and well. But by the time this whole ordeal had finished, I believe he only had about 4 to 5 weeks left to get into training camp and to get ready for this fight. And you know, he could have very easily used this as an excuse, and it's very much a valid excuse to postpone the fight, or maybe even cancel the fight. But you know, he refused not to, because he's mentioned something along the lines of, you know, if his daughter can come through this, then there's no reason why I can't come through the fight. You know, and speaking on a personal note, just thinking about, you know, earlier on in my life, I got married at the age just before my 24th birthday, and I clearly remember being mocked by my friends. You know, they would say, oh, you know, you're gonna get out of shape, you're gonna put on a lot of weight, get fat, because it was kind of like a growing trend. You know, those times where people will get married and basically you just kind of fall off. You know, you're no longer looking after yourself. Not only that, you have a wife who's cooking good food for you, and you know, you're just enjoying life really. And you know, you no longer have to worry about how you look, etc., because you're now off the market. And you know, this was something that people would say to me, but you know, thank God I've been able to stay relatively in shape after all these years, about 11, 12 years now. And you know, again, just life has its way of making things more difficult. It gets harder, especially when you have children. But as I said, there's no real excuse. You know, you have a responsibility to look after your physical health, especially if you have children, because ideally you want to be around for as long as possible, so that you can be influential in their lives. And the gist of this is just to accept that there's never going to be a perfect set of circumstances in order for you to achieve the goal that you want. So again, referring back to, you know, making sure that you make time for your health, making sure you make time to go to the gym, go on a run, etc. There's never going to be a time where it's perfect scenarios where you have all the time in the world to ensure that you have it, enough time to make it happen. You're going to have to make some form of sacrifices. You're going to have to do some things that maybe you don't want to really do, but you're going to have to just make it happen. So I'll ask the question again, what is your excuse? We look at Tyson Fury, who was just about to enter a fight with, you know, a very dangerous opponent. He keeps reiterating that in the book. You know, Deontay Wilder is not a joke. You know, he's one of the most explosive, powerful heavyweight punchers. You know, renowned for his ability to knock people out. And we know in the first fight he knocked him down, and he was only just about to make the count. And even in the third fight, I think he got knocked down twice. And again, you know, it's like you're entering a dangerous fight, but you know, you're not being able to be fully prepared for the fight, but he still didn't use that as an excuse to postpone or even cancel the fight. And you know, I'm just saying as an encouragement to everyone listening, and that is that, you know, again, you're not going to have perfect circumstances in order to do the things that you want to do. Life is tough. Life is always going to bring challenges, and you know, you just have to find another way to get around it, to do it. Learn how to push through, learn how to pursue that thing, whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, in order for it to make it happen. It could be, you know, wanting to have a change of career. Again, you still have to work your regular job, but you're gonna have to find the time or make time in order to learn the necessary skills in order for you to make that change in your career. If that may mean, again, sacrificing certain things, maybe sacrificing on that leisure time, you know, stop watching the football matches, etc. You're gonna have to learn to push through. So never forget that life is not perfect. Circumstances will always arise, but you still have to pursue, and you have a responsibility to pursue your dreams and your aspirations. You owe it to yourself to do this. Don't wait for the perfect time simply because that perfect time or that perfect situation or circumstance is never going to come. Take encouragement from Tyson Fury in his situation. Even though about to enter in a championship fight, the trilogy of Fury versus Wilder, him stepping into the ring with one of the most dangerous opponents, and because of a family situation which is way beyond his control, he still managed to get over that mental barrier, step into the ring, you know, even though he only had 4 or 5 weeks of training camp, less than half of what he would normally get to prepare for any fight, still managed to step into the ring and was also victorious in that fight. And it makes it even more pleasing, especially when you have to go through it in that way. But yes, thank you for tuning in. Another quick episode. I hope you've learned something from it. I hope you've taken something from it. Let me know in the comments below what sort of things have been hindering you or stopping you from pursuing that goal or that dream that you've had for months, maybe even years. And are you going to make a different approach to how you're going to pursue this new goal or dream or aspiration? You know, again, as I said, don't wait for the perfect time, because really, or the perfect circumstance or situation, because really that perfect time or situation or scenario is never going to come. There's always going to be more that you could have, more time that you need, more resources that you may possibly need, but at the end of the day, you still got to find a way to make it happen. Take care and God bless.